Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Kaelan's story. And as we begin today, we're going to jump ahead to the following day. Unless you have something you wanted to do the night before.
Nope.
Okay. You wake up on time, as always, the well-disciplined individual that you are. You go and get yourself some breakfast.
Yes.
Let us see what it is that you get. Okay, you gain 7 temporary hit points. As breakfast today is hearty crumb steak, composed along with eggs, bacon, sausage, potatoes, corn. It is a hearty breakfast and one that would be easy to eat too much on.
Love it. All right.
Okay. Do you do anything before heading off to your class?
Uh, no. No. Just gonna eat a quick breakfast, get to class.
Okay. Then as you head to the Ranger's classroom... Hold on. Finally, Nox is here, as is Tier and Triss.
All right.
As you enter the forest... I almost said room. It's really not a room. As you enter the forest, the Skywood, Triss looks to you, and he says... she says... Good morning, Kaelan.
Good morning.
I have pleasant
doing
news.
today? Oh. All right.
I heard that you did well collecting drakes yesterday.
It was fairly easy, actually.
That's good to hear. How would you feel if I submitted you to participate in the fall festival?
Oh. No, we were collecting monsters for that particular festival, but I don't really know anything about it.
I'll break it down for you, because it's in about a month.
All right.
The fall festival, well, it's celebrated world over. But here it's a little different. We clear out the south dock side of Ferrum. Of all people who live there. Everyone goes outside the city and watches the events take place on Scryan Mears. Teams from the Merigard, teams of students, enter that closed-off section of town and fight monsters, such as the ones you collected yesterday, or each other. Every team is gifted one totem, a little stone token that you wear around your neck, as is every single monster that we let loose in the town of Ferrum. And at the end of the festival, the team that has the most totems wins. And there are many prizes, such as gold, weapons, equipment, armor. But first prize is the fast track. If you win the fall festival, you are immediately offered a position as a Merigard contractor. You and your team.
Interesting. Well,
do you feel up for that? Or feel like you could be up for that in a month's time?
I think I could be up for it.
Alright, do you have 4 individuals in mind to invite to work with you? People that you trust?
I have 2 in mind.
I recommend you talk to Persh then, and see who he recommends to work with you as well.
Alright. Very well then. Do I collect the other 2 that I have in mind and then go to Persh, or should I go to him first?
It doesn't matter, really. It's up to you. After you have a team assembled, you'll talk to Persh, and he will show you the training room.
Very well. Alright.
Then you hear Tyr say, "Why haven't I had such consideration?" And Triss looks over at Tyr, and she says, "Because you haven't shown as good judgment as Kaelan has." And Tyr just kind of pouts a little bit. And Nox opens her mouth, and Triss says, "You haven't even showed up for most class days, Nox, so shut the fuck up." And Nox immediately just shuts her mouth.
Oh. Alright then. I will see you later then.
I'll see you later, and good luck.
Thank you. Right, and he'll head out.
Okay, so do you go to talk to Persh first, or do you go to the other students you are considering?
No, he's definitely going to go to the other students that he's considering. He's going to pick up the first person he thought of and go to the fighter's classroom.
Okay. The fighter's classroom is, as it always is, it's this massive training room. The Goliath Ilrad marches in front of them, and there are more fighters in here than you remember seeing last time you were here. You do also see a couple fighters that you remember are missing. But as you enter, who are you looking for? If I even have to guess.
Do I have to tell you? He looks for a pale white tiefling with her horns.
Yeah, you see Lilith. She's standing at attention, and she is wearing silver dragon scale mail.
Awesome. He's gonna go up to Ilrad, and good morning.
Good morning, Kaelan. I remember you. How can I help you?
I was hoping to borrow Lilith for some training for the fall festival.
Ah. It seems as though the old Sour Patch has made some friends after all, eh? And you see Lilith just scowls. Go on. And Lilith nods, picks up her gear, and heads over to you. And when she gets to you, she slams you on the shoulder and says, "This is some pretty sweet fucking armor. Thank you."
Looks good on you.
Yeah, you think so? And she, like, spreads her arms out, like in almost the come at me, bro pose.
Well, hopefully it'll be useful for when we compete in the fall festival a month from now.
I am so fucking ready.
All right. Have you ever met Sean before?
No, maybe?
Artificer. He's fairly smart and useful. I'm thinking he'll be useful for this. So, have you ever been to the Artificer's classroom before?
No.
All right, that'll be a treat. Come on.
She follows you as you leave the fighter's classroom. And as you head up to the Artificer's workshop, I assume that's your next stop.
That is my next stop.
Okay. Oh, I didn't move your map. Oh, sorry. Here is the
right.
Artificer's workshop. You know how to get there, as you've been there before. It is full of contraptions and knickknacks, and there are a few individuals in here. You recognize immediately Widget, the instructor, as she is going over what looks like a volatile experiment. Next to her, you see there is a tall, imposing-looking dark elf woman whose hair is done up very properly. Doesn't look like an artificer like you've ever seen. But you see on the other side of the table is the familiar stature of Sean, who is leaning on the table, face perhaps a little too close. And as the door opens, Widget doesn't look up, but she says, "Just a minute. I have to be very careful." And she is adding some droplets into this flask on the table. Sean looks over at you and says, "Oh, hey!
Morning.
Good morning! I'll be..." And as he turns to look at you, Widget snaps and says, "Stop moving!" All right, I'm sorry. And he stops and pays attention. The experiment takes about a minute, and the room is just full of tension. And behind you, Lilith, you just hear the as she lights a cigarette.
Oh, no.
And you hear Widget say, "Is that an open flame in my workshop?" And
Put it out. I think he just like whispers, "Put it out, put it out."
Lilith says, "Oh, shit, okay." And she doesn't know where to put it, so she just, like, squashes it with her hand, and you hear her say, "Ow." You just smell the slight singe of burnt flesh, just a hint of it.
Oh, no. Wow.
There's another moment passes. Finally, the flask is sealed, and Widget stands up, and you feel this exhalation of breath in the room. And Widget turns to you and says, "Now, how can I help you?"
Morning, Widget. I'm here to collect Sean if you will allow him to leave. We are training for some fall festival stuff.
Ah, yes, that's fine. Off you go. And Sean, you see he's like beaming. He says, "Oh, perfect. All right. I have a lot of new tricks I'd like to try out."
Perfect. All
And
right.
he kind of very cheerfully has gathered up a bag and he just kind of wanders his way over to you, a swagger to his step. Sean looks at Lilith and says, "It's a pleasure, I'm Sean." And Lilith looks at him and looks down at her burnt hand and just says, "It's a pleasure." And she's like shaking her hand. Oh. Right. So, what's next then?
We're gonna go collect 2 others. But I think I have a few ideas in mind. Need someone quiet. Need someone who can possibly keep us healthy. So, do you have any suggestions of who we should invite? I got 2 more people to invite.
Roll me a d4.
Three.
And another d4.
My dice aren't popping up.
I see him.
Oh, they are. The first one didn't pop up.
Okay, one moment here. As they stop and think about it, I know of a rogue. He's very skilled. He's quite sneaky. And he's the sort who'll take the things out your pocket without you expecting it.
Perfect.
Unless you have one in mind, we can tell a person to ask for Matthew.
Matthew. All right.
Matthew Cordell. He's an old homeboy like myself, except he wasn't raised by halflings, I don't think.
All right.
He might be. I'm not one to assume. Sorry, I'm rambling again. And
that's all right.
Immediately quiets down.
Lilith, do you know any good people that can keep us healthy in a fight? Besides, well, I know Sagona, but...
Well, Sagona's a good choice, but... I get the feeling we might want someone less...
beefier?
Yeah. A bigger guy, as it were. And I know last time I was in Treat's classroom, there was a dragonborn in there that could help us out.
All right. What's his name?
Duracon.
Duracon. All right. We'll ask for him then.
Perfect.
All right.
And like, as she says that and you say perfect, Widget says, "Are you all just going to stand right outside my classroom?"
Sorry. We're leaving right now.
Perfect.
And I'll turn to leave.
Okay. Hold on a moment. I have to get my foundry to behave, because it is not. Sorry. Hold on. What's going on here? Do you see my cursor moving?
Yes.
Okay. Fucking... Why is this... Okay. Okay. I apparently accidentally queued up a ton of dice rolls. That's what was going on. Okay. I did not need that.
This is the damage you take.
Whoops. No one needs that. Okay. Okay. All right. My game has settled itself down. You head out of the Artificer's classroom, heading toward Persh. All right. Let me pull out Sean Nolak and Lilith Noish.
Yes.
I don't have art
team.
of Lilith in scale mail yet, but it is what it is. And here you are.
All right.
Okay, so as you arrive, Foundry, please. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it to move. Again.
That's all right.
I don't know why it's giving me so much trouble. And load. And load. Alright. As you head down to the main lobby, it's not working properly, but we'll move on. Okay. You find Persh sitting behind his desk, as always. And he looks up at you as you're approaching. Good morning.
Morning.
The
We're
three of you
looking
seem to be on a mission.
We've been told to train for the fall festival.
Ah. Trist thinks you have it in you then.
All right.
Right.
We're looking for 2 individuals. Cleric, right? What was his name again?
Lilith nods, and she says, Durakan.
Duracon. Dragonborn.
Hirsch nods as he's checking the ledgers. Roll me a d12 to see if he's available.
Okay. That's a d20.
He is free. Persh picks up the sending box and says, Treat. I need Duracon down at the front desk. Oh, he's been chosen for a festival team. Well, let him finish what he's doing and then send him down. All right. And he puts the box down and says, he'll be a moment.
In the meantime, we're looking for a rogue student named Matthew.
All right. Hold on. Same story. He picks up the box. Maxwell, I need Mr. Cordell for a festival team, if you wouldn't mind. Well, he's not in trouble anymore. Send him up. Perfect.
He's in trouble. Well, that's good.
He looks to you 3 and he says, I'll be with you in just a moment. Have you been exposed to the training room yet?
There's a training room? A special one?
I'll wait for them to arrive.
All right.
He kind of sets some parchments down and opens a book and he begins skimming through it. And as he does, the selections room door opens. Your passive perception is high enough to see this.
Oh.
As the door opens, a human appears. Human man, wearing leather armor, as always. And as he emerges, he looks over and says, Right. Someone needed me.
Are you, Matthew?
I am. And you are asking for me.
Hi, I'm Kaelan. You were recommended here by Sean, so it's nice to meet you.
As Matthew approaches, he says, You son of a bitch. And Sean just kind of beams at him. It's good to see you again. How long has it been then? We're from the same town.
Ah.
This son of a
right.
bitch used to... Well, his father used to make hitches for my parents. Anyway, it's a pleasure.
Hitches.
Hitches.
All right.
And Sean says, and this son of a bitch happened to steal my favorite pocket watch. And Matthew says, I gave it back. Look, it's just a little bit of history. We'll be fine. What's the story here?
Well, we're getting a team together for the fall festival.
Ah, need a knife in the dark then.
Alright.
I'm
Looking
your
for
man.
someone sneaky.
I certainly am that.
Good. We have Mr. Brains over here with ingenuity and gadgets.
Him?
Nods.
And Sean
Aye.
just kind of, with a big, wide smile, just nods and says, "Hey."
He thought him all by himself to how to free an ent from 2 stones that were heavier than both of us.
And the Matthew, the rogue, kind of folds his arms across his chest and says, "Is that right? This doesn't seem like a lying fellow, so I guess I'll buy it for now." Sean just nods and says, "Aye. I happen to have block and tackle on me. It was no real... Who am I kidding? It was fantastic."
And don't let the shiny armor get you dulled up on this one. She's pretty good with a blade.
She is now smoking. And she just says,
And
"Hey,
always on fire. Yep.
not my fault I'm hot."
Well,
Matthew
we're
looks
waiting
between
on-
the three of you, and he says, "It's a pleasure to meet you all. This is going to be exciting, to say the least."
good to hear it.
And as he has introduced himself, the sound of heavy armor comes from around the other corner. And you see a huge dragonborn, a red one,
Oh boy.
emerge from the corner. Shield, full plate, large axe at his belt. He looks around the corner and says, "Purse, you asked for me." And Purse says, "I asked for you."
Well, you are certainly a pound of muscle. Good morning. I'm Kaelan. I'm putting this team together for the Fall Festival. How do you feel about joining it?
"Good morning. Your invitation is looked on with kind eyes by Vion. I'm ready to fight with you."
Ion. Can I make a...
Yeah, roll a religion check. See if you know who Vion is.
I'm so good at religion. Super good. Oh, well, that's not bad.
12. Vion is a commonly known god where you're from. He's a good aligned god, but a god of war.
All right. Ion, eh? All right.
That's right. And it'll be good tidings to have his blessing behind your back.
Well, from what I hear, Fall Festival sounds like war, so be ready for a fight.
I sure am. And you see that for your own record, the symbol of Vion, which is in a heavy medallion that is clattering against his full plate, the symbol is a flaming hammer set across a 4-pointed star.
All right. He will. Kaelan will nod, and in Draconic he'll say, "Courage and honor be with you."
In Draconic back, he says, "And you, brother, and you."
All right.
As you have your greeting, Persh says, "Right. The training room. All of you follow me." And he kind of hops down from behind the desk. As he does so, he goes across the hall opposite the selections room to a door that you've never noticed before. It's almost as though it suddenly fades into appearance as Persh approaches it. It is a door with a rounded top as if it's set into an archway. And as he opens it... Oh, that's why it was breaking. It's not... Hold on, I gotta get it. I have to re-upload the scene. That's why. Just a moment. Just take a second. I'm glad I discovered the problem. It is an annoying problem, but it's a minor one. Just a second. God.
Quite like this team. This is going to be good.
I'm glad to hear that. All right. You don't need that. Let me pull your tokens into the world. That's Sean, Kaelan, Matthew, Durakan. Lilith, where'd you go? There you are. As you go through the door, you are heading down a narrow hallway lined with sand on the ground, and you are looking out into a massive arena, the roof of which must be over 80 feet high. It's a huge room, and Persh is leading you all out and into it. As you emerge in the room, you notice there is this cloying mist that permeates the air all around you. And as you kind of breathe it smells of lilac and lavender. And Persh stands in front of the five of you, and Persh says, "Welcome to the Marigod training room. One of Tabernac's finest creations, in my opinion, of the most practical use as opposed to the typical knickknacks he is wont to provide us with. Here in the training room, lethal blows are not possible. You will fall unconscious from knife wounds that would bleed out anywhere else in the world. The mist that permeates this room will heal you. However, I don't recommend you stay in here any longer than you need to. There is a chance, after too much exposure to the mist in this room, of driving one insane. So, don't spend the night in here, is what I'm saying. However, the healing properties of the training room is only minor compared to what it's truly meant for. The first thing is, you can go up in scrimmages against other teams, providing a bout, if you will, from other students here at the Maragon. But what it's truly useful for is in preparation against monsters and other creatures out there in the world. Tabernac has provided us a roster of creatures that the mist in this room can create for us. They are in every semblance just like the real thing, except they don't bleed, and when they are destroyed, they return to the mist. Does that make sense?
In the basic sense, yes.
Right. So, as you train here in the training room and you become more competent with your fellow teammates, I will find more and more interesting adversaries for you. Now, as you can see, this room is just a sand pit. There's not much in the way of cover. There's not much in the way of places to hide. And he looks at Matthew as he says it. This is going to be part of your training here at the Maragon, is creating situations that are more to your benefit. There are spells for this, there are items for this. I'm sure you will find out how to do that in your own time. Anyway. Would you like a monster to fight?
Kaelan will look at the rest of the group.
Lilith is nodding fervently. But the other three, they're basically looking to you. Sean says, "Some practice together will be wise, I think."
All right. Since we will be fighting monsters, then monster it is.
All right. Go ahead and familiar yourself with your abilities. Talk about strategies. When the portcullis shuts, be ready, because the monsters can appear anywhere in this room, and that includes underground. And Persh marches out.
Can I get the spelling of our Dragonborn friend here?
Durakon Red. Durakon.
Eurakon.
Akon.
Akon. Durakon. Okay. Got it.
That's it.
All right.
Hold on a minute. I need to fix this. Okay. Durakon looks at all of you and he says, I am best on the front line, but I have ways to heal you if they get past me.
All right then. Lilith, you're pretty good up close. Yes.
I'm best up close, but I can reach out and touch someone if I need to.
All right. I assume the monster come from the center, so let's get Lilith and Dirk on opposite sides of each other.
They head their way. Now, as you play, as we roll through initiative, and each of these NPCs will go on their initiative, I'm going to ask you what they're doing, and you can describe they're attacking, they're using a spell, or they're trying to help an ally, right? You can give me commands that they will follow. And for the most part, especially the NPCs that know you and trust you, will do what you say. NPCs that don't know you might make another choice for themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, where would you have Matthew?
Well, to look at Matthew, Sean, do you have any way to maybe give Matthew a little bit of help with cover or maybe invisibility or...
I might have a trick. I can raise up some earth and create some blocks for him to hide around.
All right, let's do that.
Where would you like him?
You want to tell him where you'd like him?
Matthew looks at this big room and he says, I can move pretty far, but if you could maybe kind of give me a grid to work with. And Sean nods and says, simple enough. And he begins casting mold earth, which for him looks like he walks over to certain spots and spills a fluid on the sand, and as it sinks down, it almost like a foam just up and out, cool, creating cover. And as he does that, I'm going to move Sean as he's performing this. Hold on a second. I'll say he can get a good number of them, but he's doing it in a grid form, as Matthew asked.
Okay.
Matthew looks at you and says, oh, thank you. He didn't say that. He says, all right. What will you have for me?
If you will, stand behind or be a little bit near Durkon, and back him up if he needs any help. He's our healer, so we gotta keep him up.
Good call. And he makes his way over toward the nearest block to Durakon that Sean made.
And Kaelan will get behind this one. Sean, if you will, you have the most utility out of all of us. So, I guess, help out where you can.
You're right about that. All right, I'll see what I can do. Act on the fly, as it were. I'm always pretty good at improvising, have been ever since I was a kid, but I'm off on a tangent again. All right, and he just takes cover.
Lilith, I got your back.
You better.
Gotcha. And he'll knock an arrow.
I would like you to roll me a D4, please.
All right. A 3.
A 3. Okay. I'd like you to roll me another D4. A 4.
A 4.
Okay. Lastly, I'd like you to roll me a D100.
Oh boy. 65.
Okay. Interesting.
Let's stay there. I was gonna see if I can go that one, but I want to stay close to Sean, just in case.
Good call. All right. The portcullis slams shut. As it does, the mist seems to coalesce in different places. You've rolled a challenge, Kaelan. As the mist collapses and gathers together, I need to roll a few things.
As I see that happening, can I attempt to hide?
Yeah, roll me stealth. Matthew is also going to roll stealth.
Okay. Oh.
As the room darkens, it's not dark enough that you can't see, but it is dark enough that there is a cloying sense of tension in the room. As you don't have dark vision, I don't believe.
I actually do.
Okay. As you can see clearly, but in slightly tinged shades of gray, you hear Duracon say, "Eyes up, we have shadows. Foul undead, be ready." And as they appear, gathering, there are 4 of them.
Oh no.
Yes. And I would like you to roll me initiative, please.
Oh, okay. Good start. Good start.
That is a good start. An 11. Okay. Lilith is on a 17. Matthew's on a 23. Duracon is on a 2. And Sean is on an 18.
Great.
Oh man, there's so many dice. Matthew goes first. And as he surges from around this corner, he calls out as he runs up and he throws a dagger. He says, "Duracon, I've got you!" And he throws a dagger.
Sweet.
He was not detected, so he has advantage.
Yes.
That is a 15 to hit, which does hit shadows. So he gets sneak attack on his first hit. Okay, he rolled pretty good. That's 10 points of piercing damage to this shadow. Unfortunately, it doesn't do as much damage as Matthew would like. And he says, out loud so all of you can hear, "They're tough against non-magic. Be ready." And he runs behind this, and he will bonus action hide.
Sweet.
It's now the shadow's turn. One of them, anyway. This shadow will surge up to Duracon and will attempt to attack him. Duracon, with his heavy plate mail and a shield, whips it around and is unfazed by the attempt by the shadow. The shield just boong, knocks the claws away. And Duracon, you hear him say, "Let it begin. Vion awaits." And that's the shadow's turn. It's now Sean's turn. You're all the way down there. What will Sean do?
Yeah. Well, since we have 2 humans and it's dark, let's see if he's smart enough to give us some light.
Oh yeah, he can cast light, 100%.
And maybe give it, toss it into the center where Lilith and...
Okay, yeah. He reaches into his pocket, pulling out a round stone that looks like a bullet from a sling. And as he does, he imbues it with light and says, Let's shed some light on the subject, and throws it out into the middle of the fight.
Wonderful.
Hold on, where's my convenient effects? Draw a light source. So that's 40. Boom.
Amazing.
That's his action. Does he do anything with his bonus action or movement?
Uh,
Bonus action, he doesn't have much, but he can move.
well, he's kind of in line of sight of this shadow nearest him. So let's move him on to the top side of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Cover.
He
Does he have a bonus action that he could
no,
use?
not really.
Okay.
Not
Well,
yet.
Then,
He's level 2.
gotcha. Well, then he'll just wait there.
Okay.
And I'll keep an eye on him. Just in case.
Sure. Now it's Lilith's turn. What would you have Lilith do?
Let's see.
She has her short sword and dagger drawn, and she is looking between the shadows.
Let's have her work together with Durkon and get flanking on this other shadow since she's not in melee with anything.
She darts over to it and begins to attack.
All right.
Attacking with advantage. The first swing definitely hits with a 16. The second swing also hits with a 25.
Sweet.
Okay. As a 2-weapon fighter, she gets her bonus on both swings. That is 15 points of damage over the 2 attacks. The shadow, resistant to non-magical attacks, didn't like that anyway, because it was just a lot of hacking and slashing. It's now another shadow's turn. This shadow, you stealthed. I'm going to roll to see if it goes for Lilith, Durkon, or Sean. It goes for Sean.
Oh,
It runs up to Sean and is going to attempt to hit him. Sean, as it does, he says, "Hey, fuck you! They're the ones who are fighting you! I just threw a light!" As it's swinging at him. It doesn't seem to care. But it misses with a 10. So Sean, swats the claw away. And he looks around and says, "Are you all seeing this? Where are you?" That's his turn. Now it's your turn.
Okay. Hearing the call that it's resistant to attacks, he is going to switch arrows to a torpor arrow.
Okay.
And he's gonna. So did it hit Sean or no?
No, it failed to hit Sean.
Okay,
it tried.
Gotcha. So using the was I undetected?
Yeah, your stealth was great. For
Okay.
them, your stealth was good enough they didn't see you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna pop out and help Sean out, and fire one of my torpor arrows.
Okay, remind me the torpor arrows, what they do.
I have them written down. I know they're a poison, and that they will paralyze
Yes.
a creature if it can be paralyzed. I don't know if these can be paralyzed or not.
They are immune to paralyzation, as are they are immune to poison.
But I'm hoping that it'll give my arrow some magical qualities.
Sure. Go ahead and roll your attack.
I don't have my +1.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
But you have an advantage as you reveal yourself.
Yep.
A 22 certainly hits.
I don't know what kind of damage these torpor arrows...
Standard, just roll damage normal, because they are immune to poison.
Well, that's max damage.
Max damage is still max damage. The arrow sinks into the form of this shadow, its strange body seeming to recoil from the powerful attack. It seems as though that arrow did full damage.
Okay. Awesome.
Anything else in your turn?
No, it doesn't have a bonus action hide. Oh, what is this? The feature. The favored foe. I'm going to make it a favored foe.
Okay.
Use one of my uses for it. When you hit a creature. Oh, okay. So just when I hit.
Okay. Do you add more damage?
Yeah, it does. Nice. Okay.
Okay. So, as the arrow struck that shadow, it was actually right in the back of the head, and the shadow immediately slumps into a disappearing mist of black smoke as you kill it.
Amazing. All right. Oh, that was a close call, Sean.
It was,
But I
thank
gotcha.
you. Fuck.
All right. I'm gonna try and break line of sight with this shadow here. Just move a little bit over and knock another arrow, and that's my turn.
Okay. This shadow, you revealing yourself, it is going to try and come after you.
Okay.
It goes to where you were and sees you've moved a little, so it just goes forward a little more.
Oh shit! All right.
You didn't stealth. Unfortunately, you're not a rogue.
Yeah.
It doesn't have advantage or anything, but it did roll an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that is.
Okay. I require... hold on. Let me read this again. I require a... Oh, no, there's no save. Alright. Your strength total is reduced by 3, and you take 9 necrotic damage.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Shadows.
Yeah. 9. Okay. Hurt.
Make a note that your strength score is drained by that much.
So it's now 11. Gotcha.
Yes, sir. That's that shadow's turn. Next, this shadow will close up onto Duricon Red and have advantage on its swing. It does hit with a 22. So Duricon takes 5 necrotic damage and has his strength reduced by 4.
Oh boy.
That's not great. Okay, one moment. So his strength is now a 14. Okay. So, as the claws sink into the meat at the joints, Duricon says, sacrilegious undead. And he will raise his axe over his head and slam it into his shield. Vion calls! And he will turn undead.
Nice.
Because they are undead, and he can do that. I'm going to roll a wisdom
Aw,
save.
damn.
Yeah, the one in front of you is just out of range. Actually, he would see that. He would get close enough. He'd move the 5 feet he needs to get within range of it. Yep.
Sweet.
And so I need to make a wisdom save for all of them. Okay, that's a fail. That's a success. That's another fail. How many did I just roll? Oh, I rolled one too many. Okay. The one in front of you succeeded. The other 2 failed.
Okay.
So, immediately, this shadow turns and flees, running 30 feet away. And of course, Duricon, it's not forced movement, it chose to flee, is going to swing at it.
Nope.
With his reaction. Let's see if he hits. That's a 12 to hit, which is their AC. He slams it with the axe, feeling a little weakened despite the situation because of the cursed drain. He only deals 7 points of slashing damage, which is reduced, and you hear him curse and say, "Blasted fiends!" as it runs away. This shadow also tries to run immediately and will run down this way. And Lilith will make an attack with her short sword. She hits with a 19. Lilith deals 9 points of damage, halved. That is Duracon's turn. Back around a quarter, Matthew. Matthew will surge around this side of the... Whoa, I just picked up everybody. Matthew will surge around the side and draw his rapier and stab at this shadow with it.
The hide.
Yep. He was hidden. So he rolls a sneak attack and deals 14 points of damage. Even though it's halved, that shadow is immediately destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
He decides to stay right where he is. He will bonus action hide.
Okay.
See how he does with that stealth. Meanwhile... Oh, yeah, that's a 19. Okay. It's now the shadow that is running. It will continue to flee on its turn.
Okay.
It's now Sean's turn. Seeing you are dealing with one up in your face, he will run around, and he will raise his hands, and a firebolt will fly straight toward it.
Sweet.
He hits it with a 21.
Oh,
So
yeah.
much damage he deals. 6 points of fire damage. The shadow does not like fire. And Sean looks at you and says, "We've got this, no problem." And Lilith is going to sprint after the last shadow. Will spend an action to dash and will action surge as she's level 2. And will give it the old hacky slashy. She hits with an 18, and her dagger is a 22, so both attack hits. Okay, she deals 4 and 2, so 6 points of damage. She destroys that shadow. And as it is destroyed into dust, she looks around and says, "Fun stuff." And now it's your turn. You're in melee with a shadow.
I really don't know how this thing looks.
About half.
All right. He's gonna man up. Drop the bow, and tomahawk and dagger come out, and he's 1-2.
All right, let's go. Its AC is 12.
Okay.
That hits. That hits
All
good.
right. So plus the
Ooh.
plus the D4 for favored foe.
14. Okay. Yeah, you hit it for 7. It is barely standing.
Okay, and then stab with the dagger.
Basically, just to hit it, and you've killed it. You hit it.
That'll hit.
How do you do this?
Okay, so he will swipe with the tomahawk, slash through it, and then as it passes through the form, damaging it, he's going to stab up to the face with the dagger.
As the dagger thrusts into the semblance of what was once a human or elven, whatever, face, the blade sinks in, and you feel this cloying, cold energy just wrapping around your fingertips. But as the simulacra of life, the animus, collapses, the dust just pours over your hand, and the shadow is destroyed.
Whoa. It was drained, so he's gonna take a knee.
Okay.
Whew.
As you have destroyed the shadows. Whoops.
Oh, goodbye.
I didn't mean to do that. Gosh dang it. Foundry, why you do this? Hold on. It has been giving me some real problems today.
Oh.
I'm sorry to hear this. I'm sorry to say this, I should say. So, the party, having been through this bout, all kind of move toward you. And Lilith is jogging back, and she says, "That was That was a good fucking time. And then she sees you
All right.
looking a little weary, and she says, "You good?"
Just feel a little fatigue. Oh, all right. Um, don't get hit by one of those things. Good idea with the. I don't know what you did, but it was good. And he looks at Duracon.
Duracon looks at you, and he says, "I asked Vion to make them afraid of us, and he agreed."
Good idea. All right. Very well done. I think any more hits from them, we would have probably been sapped of all of our strength. Whew.
Shadows are disgusting creatures, Duracon says. They drain you with every strike. I definitely wouldn't like to be outnumbered by them.
I wonder if the mist actually corrects that or restores it.
You actually feel yourself regaining strength.
Okay. All right. Well then, what'd you all think?
Duracon looks over at Lilith and he says, "We worked together before." And Lilith nods and he says, "Mighty fine piece of work. I think we'll do just fine." And Matthew looks around at all of you and he says, "How are we splitting up? So, do we know if the Fall Festival, how they handle, like, loot, gear we find, those sorts of things?"
I know that they set out monsters, and we're supposed to collect a token from each monster that we kill.
Right, but who says we can't take the tokens from other teams, too?
There's nothing in the rules against it.
I mean, we don't even have to fight him. If I just catch, their leader by himself, I could just, give it a little slip of the knife across the string.
All right, that's an option. I do think we should probably kill some ourselves if we get into the occasion.
Oh, no, I'm not saying we wouldn't, I'm not going to run from any fights. And he's like hesitantly looking back and forth between everybody. And Sean just kind of smirks and says, "I bet you would if you thought you could get away with it." And Matthew says, "Oh, all right, maybe a couple, but if we're working together as a team, it's not the same as when I'm by myself on, the streets of Coda City, as it were." And
all right.
Lilith says, "I am looking forward to either fighting monsters or fighting other students. I mean, they're not going to let us actually kill each other, right?"
I think that is against the rules.
The portcullis opens as you're having this conversation. And Persh looks out at all of you and he says, "That went well.
Aye.
How do you all feel?"
Getting better by the minute.
"That's the mist for you. I'll send Tabernac your compliments." And Persh is like looking around the room, and you notice it is getting brighter until finally it is back to how it was when you first entered.
All right.
"So, as you all train and practice, you're going to get better. You're going to get better as you work together, and you'll get advantages, just as working as a team, if you understand. And over the next month up until the Fall Festival, I expect to see all 5 of you in here pretty regularly. And if there's any requirements or requests to change your team's composition, you can bring them to me. But Kaelan, as you were the one submitted by Triss, you are the team's leader."
All right. Well, I know I've worked with Sean and Lilith before, but Duracon, Matthew, how do you feel about my leading?
Duracon nods and says, Vion smiles upon you. I do too. And Matthew says,
All right.
oh, nothing so dramatic as that, but you seem to do just fine.
All right. Very well. Well,
Are you up for
Could
another
we-
bout?
Could
Oh,
we?
you can spend as much time in here as you like. But I do warn you, there are nuances to how the mist generates monsters, and sometimes it might throw you one I don't intend to send.
all right. Well, I think we did well. Would you like to give it another go, team?
There's general nodding and assent, and Lilith says, I'm still breaking in this armor. Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
Hirsch nods and heads out of the room. And as he does, Sean says, do you have any thoughts about how we begin? Maybe we change how we line up, or I could move some of these blocks, or are you happy with it?
Right. Well, I'm okay with the cover right now. Matthew, do you need a few extra?
Couple more wouldn't be frowned upon. Sean nods and begins like Molder thing. He actually makes a couple big blocks right in the middle, surging up more of the strange material that his Molder does to the sand. And Matthew looks at it and nods and says, that'll do. I can hide around many sides of this. And I imagine you probably benefit from it pretty well as well, with your bow.
Yeah. It would do me great service.
Lilith climbs up on
so-
top of one.
All right. You and Durkon work well together. But let's spread out a little bit differently, and I'll go over to where Matthew was.
Okay. Where do you want Duracon and Lilith?
They're good where they're at. If Matthew wants to get behind on the other side,
Like here? Or on these farther blocks?
the farther blocks, yeah.
Okay.
Just directly opposite me.
And where do you want Sean?
Matthew, you got Sean's back.
From here? Perfect.
All right. Sean, if you want to get some cover too.
Where?
Either right here or right here.
I think he'd go here.
Okay.
All right. Again, roll me a d4.
All right.
Let's see what you get. A 2. Okay. Now, roll me a d6.
Two.
All right.
Two. All right.
Now, roll me a d100.
$99.
99. What the fuck is this? Okay. Okay.
Teleporting, it's good.
That is interesting. All right.
He's gonna knock a. Kaelan's gonna knock a torpor arrow again. Second one. I only have 2 more.
Okay. As you do. There is the coalescing of mist again as the portcullists slam shut. And Lilith from atop the blocks say, be ready, everyone. Who knows where they're going to appear?
I'm gonna hide again.
Roll stealth, as will Maxwell.
Oh, Maxwell. All right, we got an instructor.
Or not Maxwell. Matthew. You know what I mean. He could be
Yeah,
in
I
here
know
the whole time. You don't know.
True.
Okay. That is interesting. The mist collects in the form of a armored entity. A large soldier with a blade coming out of its wrist instead of a hand. A shield in the other forms. And then another one appears all the way up here. Not super optimal. And as that happens, I'd like you to roll me initiative.
Okay. That's much better.
As these have appeared, Sean says, "Oh, clockwork soldiers. They're pretty tough. Pretty hard to hit. Be ready for it. I think they're weak to lightning." And it's your turn.
Okay. He's gonna put away the torpor arrow.
Okay. Yeah.
As he figures that there's some sort of defense against paralyzation. It doesn't have any blood, probably.
Probably not. Yeah.
And he will shoot the farthest one since he has a longbow.
Okay. As you reveal yourself, roll it at advantage.
All right, 22.
22 hits.
Okay. And I'm gonna use my second use of favored foe. 11. Hold on. Let me activate the feature so it's zoomed. It is 13.
Okay. 13 points of damage. You manage to get the arrow in over the entity's shield, and it raises its shield up higher and says, "In the name of insert entity here, you are violating the law. Stand down."
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So, did it do as much damage as?
Oh yeah,
hoped?
damage went all the way through.
Okay. Sweet. And then he's gonna break line of sight with it by moving here, and try to break line of sight with this one. But he can't hide. So
No, he cannot hide.
nope. And that's my turn.
Okay, not a bad first hit. 13 points of damage.
He will shout across the group. They take damage as normal.
You hear Duracon say, "Perfect. Nice and lazy about it." It's now Matthew's turn. How would he, what would you like him to do? He's currently stealthed.
Okay. Let's see if he can grab the attention of the one farthest from him.
So this one.
So this one, yeah.
Okay.
Try to corral them into Lilith and Duracon.
He will then emerge, raising his short bow, and fire an arrow.
Perfect.
He has advantage because his stealth was also really good. That's a 22 to hit. Man, their AC does not matter here. Okay, that is 9 plus sneak attack. He deals 17 points of damage to that one.
Dope.
And he says, "Over here, big guy!" And then he will dart here and hide.
Okay.
Oh my, yeah, it's a 23. It's now Lilith's turn. What does she do? She has a longbow that she can use, but it's on her back. It's a free action to draw it if you want. But she could also jump down.
Okay.
She's currently 5 feet off the ground on top of this block.
Right. Let's see. How far is she away from? she's. Let's have her meet that particular one. Let's book her one at a time. One at a time.
Okay. She runs up to it, jumping down, and as she runs up to it, she draws her short sword and dagger. Let's see. Short sword attack is a 20 to hit. That hits. Jesus Christ. All right. How about the dagger? Dagger is a 13. That misses. So, these entities that look like they're very well armored, for the most part, your attacks are unhindered. You're hitting the joints and weak spots between plates of armor. Until finally the dagger, as she raises it up to go underneath the helmet, the shield, whong, knocks it aside. But she does deal 7 points of piercing damage with her short sword.
Nice.
And then she will circle here. And that's her turn.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's now the farther Clockwork Soldier's turn. I'm going to roll to see who he doesn't see Matthew because of the block in the way and the high stealth, but he does see Sean. And so he raises his hand with the longsword on it, and suddenly a crossbow bolt goes flying out of it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
This large crossbow bolt goes flying towards Sean and hits with a 21, and will deal 5 points of piercing damage. So Sean takes 5, and then the Clockwork Soldier will march forward, and it will fire again. It has multi-attack.
Boy.
You rolled a tough one this time. That's a hit with a 20. It's another 6 points of piercing damage to Sean. As Sean gets peppered by bolts, he looks over at you and says, "Ow! Help! Fuck!" And then it's Duracon's turn. What will you have Duracon do?
Duracon, can you assist Sean?
Of course! And he marches up and reaches out with his holy symbol and says, "Vion protect you." And he will heal him. He heals him for 6 plus... He heals him for 10. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Sean doesn't move. Come on. Sean is almost back to full health. And Duracon brandishes the battle axe and shield, but can only get this close. And he just kind of waves the axe upward and says, "Come at me then, you Tin Man." That's Duracon's turn. It's now the Warforged, sorry. The Clockwork Soldier's turn that's facing Lilith. It's just going to wail on her with its arm blade. The first swing is a 12, which misses. The second swing is a... is a 15, which would have hit, but the armor upgrade protects her.
Yes.
Her AC's now a 16. So, both
Awesome.
swings, Lilith defends herself from. The last one, the arm blade, off the scales of the armor, and Lilith just grins. That's the Clockwork Soldier's turn. Now it's Sean's turn. Says, that was very nice, thank you. And he will run down here to try and play with the cover, and he's going to fire another firebolt.
All right.
And misses with a 7. And what actually happens is the contraption he uses to shoot the firebolts, suddenly you hear a and he says, "Ah, fuck!"
Oh.
Ow! All right, sorry. And he runs back behind cover. That's his turn.
Okay.
It's now your turn.
All right. Slinging the bow over.
You
He
gonna
is
get in
going
dirty?
to. Yeah, gonna get in dirty.
Okay. You can make that move.
Kind of. Okay. Kind of just. What's it called? Dukes of Hazzard over the block.
Yes.
Pulling out the dagger and the tomahawk.
As you
and
run
gonna go
across
for-
behind the Clockwork Soldier, Lilith watches as you run up behind, and she says, "All right, that was pretty hot."
It's gonna slash at the behind the knees at the soft spot with the tomahawk.
Okay, roll with advantage.
On.
26 hits. Absolutely. Man,
Sweet.
this 18 AC does not matter. 9.
Nope.
Okay.
Plus 4. 13.
Fuck. Okay, yeah. All right, your second attack?
Dagger. Oh. Well.
Okay. 18 is its AC. You hit it.
Does this feature minus the 5 because I don't get the bonus. So
So 3.
3 points. But does this feature happen on all attacks? Is it all attacks?
Read it. Does it say that or just once per turn?
Okay.
It would say once per turn.
First time on each of your turns that you hit the favored enemy.
So just the once.
And deal damage. Okay, just the once. All right. Cool.
All right.
So yeah, just an extra 3.
The Clockwork Soldier, its servos, as it is struggling to stay on its now severely damaged leg, surges around to look at you, and it says, "Halt, criminal!" And it doesn't say anything else.
Okay. All right, we're criminals. So yeah,
I guess.
Sure.
Now it's Matthew's turn. He can either go for the one that Duracom was managing, or the one between you and Lilith.
I think Lilith and I got this.
Okay.
Let's give Duracon some assistance.
He will run out in the open and fire his short bow at it. He has advantage. I'm sorry. I need to remember that because he was stealthed. That makes it a 24 to hit, which certainly hits, plus sneak attack. Jesus. Okay, he deals 15 points of damage.
Dope.
And then as he runs behind more cover, he says, "Catch me if you can, metal guard man thing. What are these?" And he just runs back and hides. He rolled a natural 19 on stealth. He's gone. Okay. Lilith's turn. Lilith will look around the creature at you, and with a wink, she says, "All right, my turn." And she's going to sweep out with her short sword and attempt to kick the broken leg out from underneath this creature as she swings with advantage. She hits it with a 21. And then her dagger swing with also has advantage. That's 7 points of piercing damage. And then she nat 20s with the... Okay. So the flavor here is, as she kills it, she swings with the short sword, lopping off the remaining leg, and as the creature falls, she uses it as a moment to hop up in the air and almost like a Superman punch, stab down with the dagger into the entity's head, and the blade punches through the hard iron, crushing inward, and she says, "So there! Lawbreakers? What the fuck?" And as it's dead, she yanks the dagger back out of its head and looks at you and says, "Nice, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And then she will run 30 feet to the other one. And that's her turn. The living Clockwork Soldier is going to... I'm actually going to see if it decides to pursue the rogue that just shot it. No, it doesn't. It will go up to Duracon, taking cover from the others, and will attack. With its arm blade. Let's see. Attack. It has to beat an AC of 20 to hit Duracon. It rolls a 12. Okay. Multi-attack. Second attack. It rolls an 8. Duracon just casually knocks the shit away and says, "Get your shit together, metal man." And then Duracon's turn. Duracon will fucking swing his axe at the thing. He has no such qualms with a 19 to hit. The battle axe coming crashing down, dealing 8 points of slashing damage. He will look around with his bonus action. He kind of is considering spending a healing word, but everybody's fine. So he just kind of rolls his shoulders and waits to see what happens.
All right.
It's now Sean's turn. Sean will run over here, and he sends out a line, a little wire that, and he's going to require a strength saving throw from this thing as he casts Lightning Lure.
Love it.
That's a fail. It is yanked 10 feet toward Sean, where it takes lightning damage. And if you recall, Sean said he thought they were weak to lightning. It takes 6 doubled, so it takes 12 points of lightning damage from Lightning Lure. It is barely standing as electricity is surging through its sockets and joints, just struggling to stay on its feet, and is malfunctioning over and over and saying, "Warning! Stand! Warning! Enemy! Warning!" Just like failing to complete a sentence. And Sean says, "I think I broke it." It's now your turn.
All right. Casually seeing this thing short out, Kaelan is going to do the stick, the dagger, and the tomahawk into the ground at his feet, kind of like throwing them.
Mm-hmm.
And then take out his bow, flip an arrow in his hand, like twirl it, walk over here, knock it, and fire.
Okay, as relaxed a shot as it can be. Go ahead and make your attack. You have an AC of 18 to beat.
Hopefully this is good. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you hit it. Okay. It has 2 hit points.
Okay,
How do you want to do this? Yeah, you absolutely annihilate this thing. How?
I'm just going to put it out of its misery, right through the ear hole, or what would be the hole at the side of its head, and just, you see, those hats where it's like the 2 arrows, and you...
Yes, exactly.
You put it, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what it's going to look like.
Okay. As this clockwork soldier turns to face Sean after this horrible electrocution, and it's like raising its arm at like these weird twitchy movements as it can't quite get its servos to function right, the arrow with a horrible sound of punching metal, and the clockwork soldier just falls flat on the ground.
And I think at the end of that, Kaelan will hold the archer's pose of releasing the arrow.
Okay. As you do that, combat ends, and Lilith says, "Yeah, that was hot. Okay."
He'll give her a wink.
Easy peasy. And as the bodies of these clockwork soldiers, Sean like kneels down next to the closest one and starts like trying to get at its inner workings, like pulling up the armor and looking, and as he does, it is mystifying. And he says, "Oh, come on, I just want to fuck," as it's dissipated into the air. "I could have learned so much from that." And like Matthew comes around the block and says, "That's tough, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe next time we find some weird, shitty robot guards, you can take them apart."
Go grab his tomahawk and dagger and walk over. Don't worry about it, Sean. Next time I'll take you on a trip to Arcadia. Next time I go.
Hold on. I need to see if he knows what that is. He probably does. Oh, yeah. He looks at you and he says, "You've been to Arcadia, and you didn't tell me. You son of a bitch.
Sorry?
You went to the plane of magic. What the hell?
With Lilith? Here?
And you didn't invite me." And Lilith says, "To be fair, I didn't really know what the hell was going on. It was weird, and they didn't like me because tiefling." And she like gestures to herself, and Sean says, "I'm so aghast that you wouldn't think to ask me, your old friend Sean, the one who happened to, as you mentioned, free an ent from trapped stones, but more is an academic. Hello? Fuck." And he kicks at the sand. And next to you, Duracon says, It sounds like like you're really offended about this. You should let it go. There's bigger problems. Sean just kind of mumbles to himself.
Well,
Duracon then looks around the block that he's standing next to at you, and he says, "You have a mind for tactics. Vion approves. As do I."
thank you. Well, guess it's, well, never mind. It's fine. I learned most of my tactics from playing sports, so.
Well, it serves you well, so nice to see a practical effect. And at that, the portcullis opens as Persh enters, and he says, "Right, you all handled them nice and easy. I thought they might be a little bit trickier, but y'all got through their guards might quick. Any thoughts so far on how you're fighting and the monsters I'm selecting for you?"
No, that was fun. How do we all feel? I mean, I thought that went great.
Sean says, "I'm missing a few tricks, but I feel good." And Matthew says, You don't think arrows that are pulled out of a body like that are still usable, do you?" And he like looks at one of the arrows that went into like the hard carapace of one of the Clockwork Soldiers, and it is mangled and bent.
That's not usable. If you need arrows, I can make you some.
Would you? That'd be great.
I
Could you happen to make some with a bit more kick to him? You know, maybe a little added something. A bit of spice on the end, as it were.
If you can supply it, I can apply it, but
Oh, that's my specialty.
sure.
Here,
Yeah, do that.
and Matthew will walk over to you, and he from a pocket inside his jerkin, he pulls out 4 bottles, and he hands them to you, and each one is like a little vial about this long, and inside is a black liquid. It looks pretty viscous.
Can I try to see what this is? I mean, it doesn't really.
You can roll nature.
Okay. He is trained in nature. So. Let's spark the token in my pocket.
Okay, so a 13. You're pretty sure this poison is black scorpion venom, which is pretty potent.
Oh. All right. Would I know that each vial can make about 3 arrows?
You just know that as a Fletcher. You just know.
Oh.
You don't have to roll anything for that. You just know that.
Yeah. 12 arrows.
Oh, that's
Right
perfect.
up.
You don't think you might fuck a couple up? I mean, you don't have to commit to 12. I only have 4 bottles.
Where I come from, I was the Fletcher's apprentice, so.
Okay. All right. Every time I try it, I sometimes... Okay, thank you. And he seems genuinely pleased.
Speaking of woodwork, and he will take out of his bag the painted Seashon.
Ah. Lilith looks at it and she says, "Okay. You know, if you want to impress me, you can just take me to dinner or something."
All right. Well,
Let me see that.
I'll hand it over.
She is inspecting the Sishan and she says, "It's just like I remember him."
Well, good. Glad my work is, well, passable.
It is. And you see, like, sense a softness on her voice that's not usually there as she's looking at the Sean, and she looks up at you and she smiles, and it looks like a genuine one. Not the half smirk that she usually wears. Thank you, Kaelan. And she
My pleasure.
holds it out to you.
That's yours.
No shit. And she takes it back and looks at it. And she still had her short sword in her right hand. She sheathes it with a shk and takes the Sean. It's going in my room.
Good place for it. Persh, can I ask what time it is?
Persh looks at you and he says, just afternoon.
All right. Lunch? I'll buy.
You don't have to say that twice, Lilith says, as she pockets the Sean, and Duracon says, for all of us, right? Not just for your girlfriend there.
He'll laugh nervously.
Lilith just kind of, like, you get the feeling Lilith is amused at the jab and doesn't take it seriously. Or maybe she's not bothered by the idea. You can't really tell offhand. But Matthew's right in front of you, and he says, you did mean for all of us, yeah?
Aye. Yeah.
All right, where are we going?
Oh, well, I don't see shit.
Nope. Lilith is pretty good at deception.
Good. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll buy. Let's go.
Where are we going?
However,
Sean comes up behind Matthew.
However, Lilith's got the beer.
She scowls. I knew you were up to
come
something. It's fine. I guess
All
I'll
right. Fair enough. Let's go get it.
Okay.
Mary Guard or the one by the docks? I don't think I've ever been to the one by the docks.
Well, that's because the Mary Guard's the best. But we could go to the ship's stool. It's not bad.
How's the food?
Homemade, she says with a careful enunciation.
All right. Mary Guard it is. I'd rather have good food.
Yeah, same. And as you are
Treat my
preparing to
team.
leave, you do see that the sand blocks created by Sean kind of sink into the ground. And the fighting room is how it was when you arrived.
Great. All right. Thank you, Persh.
My pleasure. Again, you should be using this room a lot, so just let me know.
Will do.
And as you head out of the training room, out into the Mary Guard proper, and out toward the Mary Guard, congratulations, Kaelan, you are level 2.
Sweet.
And that is where we will stop today's session.
Perfect.
What did you think of the training room and the preparations for the fall festival?
I didn't think I would get the opportunity to train as kind of still new to the Mary Guard, but I had been thinking about it for the whole week.
Nope. You impressed
and I love
Triss with how you followed orders and you did the quests as demanded. And as such, you earned it. So,
Good. All right. Cool.
well done.
Yeah. I think we got a good team going. I really wanted to, like, I was thinking about like all the people that I would invite. Lilith and Sean were definitely the two that I was gonna go with, and then I was thinking about Hiram.
Hiram is a tank.
Yeah. I figured I'd need some frontline beef to go along with Lilith, but then I was lacking, and then someone stealthy. But then I would have lacked the magic,
That's true.
the healing and stuff. So
No, you made some good calls.
Good. Yeah.
I look forward to playing again next week, and to all of you watching, thank you. We love you. We'll see you next session.
Awesome.